Enemy cruiser sunk.
Good evening. Welcome to the Fresh Potato. I'm your host, Fresh Potato. I like saying that, can't you tell? But anyway, I have some Kronshtadt gameplay. You know, Kronshtadt, one of my favorite ships. But before we get into that, I want to talk about turning on crossplay. Now, if you look at the screen, you'll notice that, well, this is a PlayStation only match. And the reason for that is because somebody, one of these players, maybe two or three, but all it takes is one person has crossplay turned off. If you have crossplay turned off, you're forcing the rest of us to indulge in your behavior. You see, you are forcing us to play in these types of matches. It's a small match. It's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 6 when it should be 9 versus 9. And that's because we're not playing against other players from other consoles. You know, if you have crossplay turned off, then whatever console you have, that's what you're going to play. That's who you're going to play. If you have Xbox, then you're only going to play Xbox player against Xbox players. If you're on PlayStation, you're only going to play against PlayStation players. It causes havoc, okay, when you do this, okay? In a standard match, 9 versus 9, well, you want to be playing against players with other consoles like PlayStation, Xbox, PC, mobile players, and it makes it easier and faster for you to get into a match. Okay, if you find yourself taking a long time to get into a match, well, that's one of the reasons. You have crossplay turned off. So turn on your crossplays, guys. New players, if you don't know how to turn on your crossplay, I'll show you here. Now, what you want to do, you want to go back to your main menu, scroll down to settings, scroll all the way to the right, keep going, one more, network, there you go. And if you see cross network gameplay, you want to put it at enable, no, not disable, and no, yeah, enable, what's wrong? There you go, enable it, new player, enable your crossplay. When you do that, we're all good. We can all have normal matches, okay? A lot of us players, when we play standard, we want to play in a full match, and we don't want it to take 100 years to get into a match, okay? So turn on your gameplay, people. All right, so let's get back to the gameplay. But as I was saying, Kronshtadt is one of my favorite ships. One of the reasons for that is because, well, I'm a new player. I've been playing for about 7 months, so I don't have all the other fancy, you know, ships that a lot of the senior players will have. So this ship, you know, may be looked down upon by some of the senior players, but for me as a newer player, oh, I really like this ship. I lean towards battleships more. But my gameplay is beginning to change where I am falling in love with the super heavy cruisers, okay? Not to be confused with heavy cruisers, okay? Keep in mind, new players, there's a couple kind of cruisers in the game, okay? There's light cruisers, okay? There's heavy cruisers, and then there's these super heavy cruisers. Boats like Kronshtadt, Stalingrad, Napoli, okay? I think Siegfried, I believe, is a super heavy cruiser. Ships like these, oh man, I really love the gameplay because they're agile. They're like agile battleships. You know, that's basically what they are. Agile battleships. They have most of them have basically the same guns as a battleship, but what's more important is the armor. They have the armor, okay, and that's what I like, and the faster reload. You know, I believe I have my Kronshtadt reloading in less than 20 seconds, I believe, on this one, on this build. Um, I tend to build into more accuracy with the Kronshtadt because it can be a very, very inaccurate ship. And there we kill this cruiser, I believe it was the Monitor, and boy, do I hate spamming cruisers. Oh, I can't stand them. You know, but it's part of the game. You don't hate the player, you hate the game. Okay, uh, and yeah, take one shot at him, one more, you filthy animal. You know, but moving forward, so as you can see, we're pushing into the cap, and with most cruisers, you have radar. And for me, I don't like to pop my radar so early or so soon, even though I'm spotted. I like to give it a minute. And right when I was gonna pop it, the Shimakaze exposed himself with, of course, help with from our friendly destroyer spotting him. So we're gonna light him up. And for the new players out there, for the potatoes out there, rule of thumb: when you are engaging a destroyer like this, bow in, point your ship towards it and sail towards it or away from it. What you're doing there is making your ship narrow enough to squeeze through the torpedoes that are most likely heading your way. Okay, so always bow in or sail away, making your ship narrow to squeeze through torpedoes. Don't do broadside in front of a destroyer. But fortunately for us, there was no torpedoes heading towards us, so we get to focus on the other super heavy cruiser I forgot to mention, the Cournot. The Cournot is a French super heavy cruiser, came out in the last campaign. I really like this ship. I really like that ship. I just wish Wargaming would buff the reload, maybe bring it down to about less than 20 seconds or so. But overall, I believe it's a good ship. It's a very fast ship, you know, strong ship, big guns, strong armor. But here, I knew there was a destroyer left, and I wanted to know where he was. I didn't want any surprises, so I popped the radar there, and sure enough, Shimakaze. So we start to light him up, and remember, rule of thumb: point your bow towards the Shimakaze or towards the destroyer. Unfortunately for me, there's a Cournot. So I'm going to angle towards the Cournot while shooting at the destroyer. So if you see my mini-map, look at the mini-map, you see that I am pointing my ship towards the Cournot. I don't want to, you know, show broadside to a Cournot because it has really big guns and that it can really hurt me. So there goes the torpedo salvo. We were really lucky there. That's why you have to point your bow in towards the destroyer. But fortunately for us, our teammates knock out the Cournot, so now we can focus the Shimakaze. We're lighting him up. We got the secondaries going, and the Shimakaze is going to die a warrior's death. He didn't run away. He came in. He wanted to, you know, he wanted to match the end already, like the rest of us, and he gave himself up. But there it is. This match, you know, it's not spectacular. It's used for educational purpose, for, you know, turning on your crossplay. You know, we did get second on the leaderboard in XP, but look at the match. It's not a full match. You know, make sure you turn on your crossplay, guys. Turn on your crossplay. Don't torture us. But thanks for watching.
Enemy cruiser sunk.